Hi, this is Ms. Brable. This is lesson 4. I want to do lesson 4 a little differently with you, so we're going to do it in parts. So we're going to start with part A, which is kind of a review of adding and subtracting fractions. So you need to have paper and copy down these examples because we're not in the module just yet. Well, you will be in the module shortly. So I'll give you a second to copy those problems down. Go ahead and hit pause if you need to and copy them down, and then we'll start solving them. Alright, so my reminder to you when you're adding or subtracting fractions is you need a common denominator. Some people learned it last year by making everything improper. You do not need to make everything improper. So we're going to work the first problem. You need a common denominator for 3 and 5. Remember, if you can't think of any other way to get one, you can multiply them. So it's 15. So I'm going to write 15 as my new denominator. Now to get the numerator, I'm going to say 3 times what is 15? It's 5. So if I had to multiply the bottom by 5, I have to multiply the top by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Second one, 5 times what is 15? 3. So I have to multiply the top by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Alright, now when you add fractions, you add the numerators only. So I have 5 plus 6. That's 11. Keep the denominator the same. Now add the whole numbers. 7 plus 6 is 13. Simplify if you can. However, that one cannot be simplified. Alright, for the second one, my denominators are 4 and 8. You can multiply them and get a bigger one, but you could actually use 8. So your denominator has to be at least as big as both of the numbers. It can't be smaller than one of the numbers. So 8, 8, 4 times what is 8? 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times what is 8? 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Alright, now add the numerators only. So I'm going to add 6 plus 5. And again, I'm going to get 11, but this time my denominator is 8. That is an improper fraction. When the top is bigger than the bottom, it's improper, so you have to fix it. The way you fix it is divide. So you say how many times can 8 go into 11? It goes 1 time. And how many are left over? 3. Alright, so now I'm going to add the whole numbers. 2 plus 3 is 5. So now I have to add 5 plus 1 3/8, which is 6 3/8. So that's my final answer. If you have trouble with fractions, I would recommend you go try to find a video on Khan Academy, Khan, or on YouTube that might help you do more examples of this. Alright, I want you to pause your video and go ahead and try to do those, then come back and we'll work them together. Alright, so the first thing I have to do is find a common denominator. 5 and 3. So 15. And 5 times 3 is 15, so I have to do the top times 3. Bottom 3 times 5 is 15, so I have to do the top times 5. So add numerators only. 5 plus 3 is 8 over 15. 4 plus 2 is 6. So there's my answer. On the second one, common denominator for 5 and 3, which I just found, is 15. Alright, 5 times what is 15? 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times what is 15? 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now here's what's going to happen. When I add the numerators only, I'm going to get an improper fraction. So I have to fix that. So 15 goes into 19 one time. And how many are left over? 4 over the same denominator. Now add the whole numbers. 7 plus 2 is 9. So my final answer is 9 plus 1 and 4/15. So it's 10 and 4/15. Alright, so that was adding. It's a little different on subtracting. So go ahead and pause your video and write those problems down, and then come back and we'll work them. Okay, the same basic thing. You need a common denominator. So my numerators are 3 and 2, so that's an easy one. The denominator is 6. 3 times what is 6? 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times what is 6? 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Alright, so right away I can see I have a problem. I have 2, this time it's minus. 2 minus 3, numerators only. That does not work. You would get a negative, and we're not going to do it that way because that'll be way complicated. So what we have to do is borrow, and hopefully you remember how to do this. So when I borrow from 7, it becomes 6. When I borrow, though, it's different. I don't bring a 1 over like I do with regular numbers. In the fractions, what you do is add the top and the bottom. So 6 plus 2 is 8. So your numerator becomes 8. Alright, now you can subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. And now I'm looking at the new, make sure you use the one that you got when you borrowed, not your old number. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Alright, on the second one, my denominators are 5 and 6. So I can use 30. 5 times what is 30? So dot means times. 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 6 times what is 35? So 5 times 5 is 25. I have the same problem. When I subtract, it doesn't work out. The top number is not bigger, so I need to borrow. So when I borrow from 3, it becomes 2. But this does not become 112. You add these two up. 30 plus 12 is 42. This numerator is 42. So make sure that you're not just putting a 1 there. I'm sorry, mine disappeared for some reason. Now it came back. Alright, let me write it here. Alright, now when you subtract, it's 42 minus 25. So 25 away from 42, figure out what that is. And if that gives you trouble, what you need to do is come over here and do your work. 42 minus 25. This time when you borrow, you do put a 1, is 17. So I have 17 over 30, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. So there's my answer. So this is the one, the last one, that is most commonly missed by people because they make careless mistakes. So it'll be easier for you if you actually do it this way. Don't just try to do it in your head. Alright, my numerator is 5. my denominator is 5, and I don't have one up here, so I'm going to put, I have 0 5s. Alright, so my common denominator is 5. I can't do 0 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow. That's going to become 8, and that's going to become 5. So 5 minus 4 is 1, and then the whole number's 8 minus 6 is 2. So those are kind of the easy ones, but people mess them up because they're careless with those. Alright, now I'll go ahead and copy those down and then stop your video. And when you come back, you're going to come back to lesson 4, part B.